You love JoJo's. Let me just check that. Ah yes, the average JoJo fan. And we all love stands, don't we? But what I hate is that loads of them are underused. And I'm not talking about the obvious ones like Heaven's Door or The Hand or even Purple Haze. No, I'm talking about the spicy stuff. Like him here. But don't get me wrong, I don't think Diver Down is a bad stand or Anastasia is a bad user. I think there were just many more possibilities with the stand Diver Down. We've seen that Diver Down is able to connect two brains together and kind of mix their behaviors. This is shown in the fight against Yo-Yo Ma, where Anastasia puts a frog inside the stand's head, and so he behaves like a frog. Connecting two brains together in such way isn't even possible for very modern medicine. So the precision of the stand is incredible. Yet he never really uses that. Well, of course, he sometimes changes properties of objects or sometimes even people or himself from the inside, but never to this extent that we've seen that he's capable of. With this precision, he would be able to do so much things. Like, for example, make someone work for him because he kind of wrote it into his brain. As we've seen, as I said, that he's capable of manipulating a brain on a biological level. I think you get what I mean. And there are many more examples for this kind of underutilizing of a stand. First on my list would be the stand Underworld from Donatello Versus, who can dig up memories and basically manifest them and trap people inside of them, which will then end up in the same situation as the people in this memory ended up in. In Stone Ocean, he uses it to create a memory of a plane crash and trap Jolene and Hermes inside of it. And with this stand, I just think it's so much more that you can do with it, because memories are like so present everywhere and there are so many of them that you can basically do anything with the stand. For example, he could have digged up the memory of a catastrophe where maybe an atom bomb were dropped or a nuclear reactor blew up. This would lead to massive destruction and a quite inescapable death for his foes. Also, we see in his fight against Jolene that the items that are created through his stand are actually usable by people that are alive. Jolene opens the door of the plane and thus uses something in this memory. So a memory of a very strong weapon or something, or a tank, for example, could be used by him and utilized to defeat his foes. I don't think he could use like consumables because the memories are made of dirt, so I don't know, it seems like this wouldn't be possible. Next up would be Weather Report, which is my favorite stand from Stone Ocean, and also Weather Report, the guy Weather Report, is my favorite character from Stone Ocean, but sadly his stand is just so damn underused, it's incredible. This stand is literally able to control the weather with such a precision that he was able to basically summon a rain of poisonous frogs in a matter of seconds. And although it is never really explained in detail, it kind of is hinted at that he was taking them from South America with wind, basically bringing them to Arizona and dropping them. This requires extreme precision. And to be fair, later it's shown that the precision isn't that great in the scene where he forms little ice spikes from his blood to trap Pucci, but this doesn't matter anyway. The ability to control the weather is just overpowered. Weather Report could literally one-shot any enemy that gets too close to him. Most obvious would be a very strong gust of wind, which could easily blow a house away, so a human would just be torn apart by such winds. And this is just one possibility. He could make it hail very giant boulders of ice. He could strike his enemy with lightning. He could create such a heavy rainfall that he would just flush his enemies away. This stand is so underutilized, it really makes me sad, because as I said, it's my favorite stand from part 6. But you know which stand is more underutilized? My favorite stand, Soft and Wet. I've mentioned it before, part 8 is my favorite part, Josuke from part 8 is my favorite character, and Soft and Wet is my favorite stand. But sadly I have to say, Soft and Wet is just as underused as the other stands I've mentioned before. His ability to steal anything from anything or anyone is just so overpowered. Basically, the first thing Josuke steals is the friction of the floor in the fight against the stand Fun 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 and its user. So even without Go Beyond, Josuke has an ability that can break the laws of physics. And imagine what he can do with that. Or better, could have done with that. Someone is ill, just take their illness away. You want a sandwich? Remove the absence of the sandwich. The possibilities are literally infinite. And the boundaries of that ability are never set as well. For all we know, he could just hit someone with a bubble and take their life. And I would have loved to see what things would be possible with this stand. Nonetheless, Josuke uses him really well, but I think there are many situations where he could have just used him much more efficiently. For example, the fight against these two twin rock humans. In one scene, he's basically strangled by metal wire, from which he could have removed the solidity or the high melting point. All in all, with this stand, there were so many possibilities which weren't used, which I think is very sad, but I still love this stand, I still love part 8, and for now, they won't leave my number 1. And then we also got Killer Queen from Kira, especially Bite the Dust. Normal Killer Queen as well, somewhat. I mean, he could have just made the ground a bomb and boom. But whatever. The thing I want to talk about is Bite the Dust. Because Bite the Dust is insanely strong, but Kira never really uses it to its full extent. Because imagine if he would have just deactivated Bite the Dust after blowing up Rohan. And immediately after he could reactivate it on Hayato, so he couldn't tell the others. That way he could easily defeat one by one and never get caught. Also in general, he could easily rewind time without even killing anyone, just to reset a certain event happening, so he can do it better next time. How that would work is that he activates the stand on a random person and gets them to tell someone else the identity of himself. Boom, person blows up, time rewinds, he deactivates the ability, the person doesn't die, and he can relive the day to make whatever event he wants to change. Funnily enough, I really love Killer Queen, it's my favorite stand from part 4, so there kind of is a pattern now, isn't it? And at last, we got Metallica and Risotto. Metallica is a really insane stand as it is able to control any metal to a microscopic scale. He can literally form items from the iron that is in the blood of someone. The easy strategy to basically defeat any life form is just to make some sharp metal object inside their heart, brain, or any vital point basically. It's really simple, he doesn't use it, and it gets really annoying, although the fight between Doppio and him is really cool, but I think it's just off-putting that he doesn't use it to its full extent. However, let's get to some honorable mentions of rather not so extreme cases. We got Hierophant Green, who has the ability to invade another person's body and control them from the inside. Kakuin literally uses that 2 times and never again. In many situations, especially the fight against Steely Dan, this ability would have been key to a fast victory. Also, we got Yellow Temperance. This stand is absolutely insane. It got hit by Star Platinum and wasn't affected at all. It can hide you perfectly. It has perfect defense and attack mechanisms, but the user is just stupid enough to not use it to its full extent. And who's just as stupid is the user of the stand Judgment. Judgment is able to create anything from Earth basically, but he just creates some zombies and a bit of gold and that's it. He could have created whatever, a dragon or an atomic bomb or anything. But no, he didn't. There was a lot of potential though. But what's not stupid is subscribing to my channel, because we are literally on our way to 2,000 subscribers right now, and I would really appreciate it if you do. Also check my latest video where I matched 2 community stands against each other, and also go there and comment your stand in the comments so I can match it with another stand of the community. Until then, stay safe and I will see you next time.